Good morning. I'm Clint Satterfield, the Director of Schools in Trousdale County. I'm bringing you this video message to help inform our community and our parents and our students about updates and events that's coming forth for Trousdale County Schools. First of all, please allow me to always remind you of our 5 continuity of learning goals that we want to provide weekly teacher communications to all our families and students. We want to provide nutritious meals and being sure our children have enough to eat during the time that we're closed for school. We want to provide the highest level of academic instruction that we possibly can during this long-term school closure. And we want to be sure that we provide equitable services for our most disadvantaged students. And we want to provide seamless college supports for our graduating seniors that are getting ready to go to college in the fall. I'd like to provide you with just a few updates. Is that our feeding program is going quite well. We're averaging feeding a little over 350 students per day. The main site for us is our Grab and Go site at Trousdale County High School, and it is from 11:30 to 1 each day, Monday through Friday. And last week we added 5 walk-up sites that we made mobile sites within the community. They grew and got better as the week went along, so that we could call that a success last week. We just want to remind the public is that these are walk-up sites and walk-up sites only. They are not drive-up sites. We do not have a way to maintain the safety of students with traffic, and if you have a transportation, you need to go to the high school for meals. These meals are always are only for children as well. Lastly, is the Morrison Street Church of Christ did not yield the amount of students that we were looking for. So we're going to move that bus just down the street just a little bit to West Main Housing Authority and try to center that more in a neighborhood where we can support more students. One thing that the principals asked me to say that they were getting some questions on. Last week I was talking about student registration. We were only discussing student registration for those students who will be in high school next year, which are presently in the 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th grade. If your student is in kindergarten through the 7th grade, those students are automatically rolled up into next year's attendance program, and there's no registration needed. On Wednesday, Governor Lee announced that he wished that all schools would stay closed through the end of the school year, for which we will honor. The situation is now that even if we start back to school on the last week of July, we would miss 19 weeks since we first closed on March the 16th. That is a great deal of missed learning, and it's something that we must talk about. It's something we must be aware of, and we have to work very hard to try to mitigate that negative impact of lost learning on our students' future, because we know that education means a lot, and it means a lot for our children, and it can make differences in their lives. So we want to be sure that we try to make up for that lost learning the best we can. In order to do that, each day becomes really essential. And I want to plead to parents is don't take your foot off the gas. Don't allow your students to take the foot off the gas. We've still got a lot of hay out in the field, so to speak, and we've got to get it in and get it in the barn. We will rest when the school year is over with. So this is going to take a team effort in order to get done. Nobody can do this work by themselves. The school cannot do it by themselves. The teacher cannot do it by themselves, nor the parent, nor the student. But we all must work together as a team in order to mitigate this learning loss. As we go into this week, we are calling this week number 3, and it runs from April the 20th through April the 24th. And we will continue our schooling until week number 7, which will get us through the week of May the 11th through the 15th. The key things that I'm stressing with our principals, our assistant principals, our supervisors, and our teachers is we cannot do this work without getting two moving pieces going, and that is student work and feedback to students. Feedback to students does not work without a student work product. So each week in each course that our teachers are identifying a work product that is to be submitted to the teacher. And it is that work product that the teacher will evaluate. And when they call the student the next week, that drives a discussion around feedback to students. So be sure as a parent that you're working to find out what is that work product submission and being sure that that's submitted to the teacher at the end of each week. As the governor announced that we will be closed for school for the rest of the year, it's important for us to start layering on some other activities, related arts, those other things that make a difference in a child's education. We have already started, our art teachers have art lessons in K all the way through 12. Those art lessons are posted each week, and we'll go through one of those lessons here in just a few minutes. Mr. Joins did a great job last week getting all the band instruments out to the students. They have them at home to practice, and that's well needed. So I hope the students will take time and work on their music skills as well. Another thing that we introduced last week was the public broadcasting system videos. These are great opportunities for parents to layer on a different activity or a different layer of enrichment for their students. They broadcast live Monday through Friday from 10 to 11, and they actually replay them late at night. I actually saw a second grade math about midnight one night when I woke up, and they're a really good program. So please look at those and think about those into your routine. Another thing is that since the governor's announcement to keep schools closed is that as parents, you're going to have your child and our student for quite some time. It's important that we think about building routines, schedules and routines in our home for students. For example, students don't need to be staying up late at night and then sleeping all day the next day. They need to get into a regular school routine similar to what they would have if they were in school. Our guidance department and our coordinated school health has made a school closure toolkit that will be posted on our website and providing it to our teachers that has just a few tips and a sample schedule that, and of course, you can modify it, but it gives parents an idea of what a typical daily schedule should look like. So please look at that. I know our teachers will send it out to you, but think about developing a regular routine and schedules for your children. Also, it's very important while communications are shortcut, so to speak, and we don't have a lot of face-to-face interactions, that it's very, very important that we all stay connected. Like I said before, it's a struggle for me to do these video conferences, but I know that they're very important to keep everybody informed and engaged. So we will continue to do these as long as it's necessary. But it's really important that we keep good communications. And communications is a two-way street. So both people have to work hard to be sure that we have good communications. I'd always encourage you to go to our district website at www.tcschools.org. Any new pertinent information, we're posting that on the front page of our website. Our teachers are taking every bit of information they have at their classroom level, and they're putting it on their individual teacher websites as well. Again, our teachers are calling their students every week. If that's not happening, please let me know or let the principal know, but we want to be sure. Now, remember, that's going to be an odd looking number because, we're protecting the teacher's phone number. So, but somewhere between the hours of 7:45 and 2:45 each day, be looking for that phone call. And you've worked with the teacher long enough is you probably know about what time or what day to expect that, and you can talk to them by emails as well. When we have important information out, we always text our message through our message system, And I think our community has gotten real used to relying on those text messages as well. And then, of course, the weekly director's text message. And I think the Hartsville Vidette has done an awesome job informing our community about what's going on in schools. And WT&K, Jerry Richmond, he had us on for an hour last Friday. And hopefully we'll get to do more of that on, I think that's lunchtime with Elner at 11 o'clock. But I didn't see any lunch that day, so maybe we'll get some lunch sometime. I'd like to take a minute to feature what I think is two really good teacher websites, and I want to practice being sure that our families know how to use those. The first one is Mr. Gully. He's a math teacher at Jim Satterfield Middle School, and again, if you go to the top of the website and you click down on the school, and then if you go over to the left on the quick links and go all the way near the bottom of the page, right above upcoming events, you see teacher websites. You click on that, and then our teachers' names at the middle school are listed alphabetically. So you go find Mr. Landon Gully, and you click on, and there's his homepage. And then for all of our teachers over on the left side, no matter whose website you would go to the left and all the way down to the bottom, and you would see the continuity of learning plans. Week 2 was last week. See, he's put the date there. That was the week of April 13th through the 17th. This is this week. This is April the 3rd. We'll go back to week 2 for just an example. And you can see here that Mr. Gully talks about what the children have missed. And then he has an iReady link that they can go to. Of course, we would need to know that password, and I'm sure your student has that in order to get in. And he also has Google Classroom. And again, that takes a password that be sure that your students know their password. Be sure they can get in. When they get in, you need to go in and look and see what they can do. You can also see he's made a copy of a scatter plot quiz. This is in PDF form. You can see this on your iPhone, or you can print it if you had a printer, or if you need to, we will actually send that to you in a paper packet. Also, you see that he has printable lessons in PDF form, that he scanned those that we can work with our children with. So this is a really good job. This is very family friendly. He's also, see here at the bottom, his submission for feedback, the student work product, and he tells you what he expects that to be. So this is an excellent example of a teacher website. Another one I'd like to feature is we were layering on our related arts, and Miss Anna Roberts at Trousdale County Elementary School. I go to the elementary school. I go over the quick links. Right above upcoming events, I go to the teacher website. And then I need to know, you might have to ask your student who's their art teacher. And I said, Miss Roberts. So you would go down and find Miss Roberts' name. And you can see here, this is her homepage. And she too has set it up for a continuity of learning. And this is this week for April the 20th through the 24th. And you can see these beautiful pictures that she has here. And then it explains the art activity that the students are to do. I think that's collecting leaves and twigs and flowers and rocks to go outside and to make a design. And then she tells you she gives you some examples. This is awesome. And then I think she has some words for students to work with, some vocabulary. And I think somewhere in here she tells you to submit that, take a picture, and send that to her, and she would give you feedback on that. So I think those are two excellent examples of our teachers and the great job that they are doing. So trying to navigate that. So we looked at those websites, Mr. Gully and Miss Roberts, And remember to go to our website at www.tcschools.org. Go to the header at the top, look for teacher websites on the left, find the teacher's name, go to My Classroom, go to My Continuity of Learning Plan, and then pick week 3, and you'll be on your way. Since the governor has closed the schools for the remainder of the year, we want to provide another Chromebook pickup day. I've had some parents actually contact me wanting to know if there'll be another. I know that they've reached out to principals. We were wondering if we got back in school, we might not pass any more out. But now, since we're going to be closed for the rest of the year, we're going to provide another Chromebook pickup day, and that'll be this week, tomorrow, Tuesday, April the 21st at the high school. High school students can come by between 3 and 6 p.m. And then on Wednesday, April the 22nd, that'll be for middle school students, and that'll be 11 to 5 p.m. Remember that all parents must download the responsible use policy. You can find that on the front page of our website. You only would have to print the last page, which is a signature page, but you need to read the entire responsible use agreement, because there are some things about what students can do and cannot do with their Chromebook at home. So we need to be sure that we get some good supervision on that as well. Also know that you don't necessarily have to have Wi-Fi at your home in order to utilize our Chromebooks. The public library is a hotspot. I understand you can drive into the library parking lot, and then being able to access their Wi-Fi is an opportunity. Andy Overman is building a high school hotspot at Trowster County High, and we'll have more information about that when it becomes available. Hopefully that might be done by the end of this week or the first of next week. And then also I always pitch in for Comcast. If you are in the Comcast area and you're economically disadvantaged or have public assistance, then you can get Wi-Fi for free. You can go to our website and look at get the link to that and the directions. But even if you don't qualify, you can get, if you have a student in school, you can get Comcast for $10 a month. So that's quite an advantage. A lot of talk about our graduating seniors, and we respect and are excited about their graduation. We want them to have the best graduation they possibly can, although sometimes it's a little bit tough in this unforeseeable environment that we live in presently. But nevertheless, we're preparing to have a great graduation ceremony for our seniors. This Wednesday, April the 21st, Jocelyn's will be at the high school at the tent out front from 2 to 4 to provide their caps and gowns. So please make arrangements to do that. And I'll try my best to send out a text reminder to all parents as well. Some conversation around graduation, and the school board met on this last Thursday, and they wanted to be sure that our families had a voice in the decision on what was best for their seniors and having a good ceremony. So what the board decided to do in last week's meeting was to provide families, senior families, with 3 possible dates: May the 29th, June the 26th, and July the 10th. And we will send you a survey by a survey link on Friday, May the 1st, for parents to vote on which date that they prefer. That information then will be provided to the school board at its meeting on May the 14th, when they will discuss next steps and decisions, and hopefully we'll know a little bit about social distancing and the stay-at-home orders and that type of thing. We are presently working on a senior salute presentation like we do each year. Miss Christy Sprinkles and Mr. Ben Johnson will be working on that. And when we have that completed in May, then we'll be posting that to our website for parents as well. And Miss Sprinkles is working on the 2020 yearbook, and everything's on go to have our yearbook on time. Lastly, as we close, We have to think about the closing of school as well, and it's not too soon to start talking about that. But we will have to return the Chromebooks. That will be sometime between May the 18th and the 22nd. We also need to give thought about returning some items that belongs to the schools, such as I'm sure there's some textbooks at your home, some library books, sports uniforms, and we'll have to develop some weeks or days when we recover that. So if you've got a textbook, if you've got a library book, sports uniforms, be sure you gather that up, put it in a safe location because we'll have to be returning that before the end of the school year. And also that we'll have to work with developing some days where students can come to school with groups of less than 10 and pick up the items that belongs to them as well. So we don't know exactly when we'll do that, but we need to give that some thought. Remember, we'll try to provide the best communications that we can. We're never perfect. If you have questions, please feel free to reach out to me or our principals. That's the best place to go. I know I got several emails last week about your concerns about graduation. That went a long way. So be sure to reach out to us if you have any questions or concerns or anything you think that would help make our work easier and better for students. Continue to look at our website. Look for our texts. We post things to social media a lot of times when we put it on our website. And also look for this weekly video. In closing, please be mindful that from what I've seen and watching the news, we are flattening the curve. We are winning this battle. Let's don't take our foot off the gas too soon, and let's continue to do the good work that Trouser Countyans and Tennesseans and Americans have done across the country so far. So stay at home if possible. Act like you have the virus so that you can protect others. Wash hands frequently. Stay 6 foot apart. If we're at the cap and gown pickup day or the Chromebook pickup day, it's imperative that we practice social distancing and stay 6 foot apart. And also wear a mask in public in order to protect others. In closing, we will get to a better place and we'll be better people and we'll have a better education system because of what we've learned during this time. I cannot say enough to parents is work with your school and your teachers and your principals. Do everything that you can to mitigate this summer slide due to this long-term school closure. It is a beautiful time to take time and work with your child if you're working from home. Communicate with your teachers. Worry them to death. They will love to talk to you. But don't be afraid to reach out to our teachers. Please, please, please find out what that weekly student work product is and be sure that that's submitted to the teacher. And then monitor that student feedback conversation that they have with their teacher each and every week. And thank you very much. And let's win this COVID-19 battle. Thank you.